business. Decision making is a serious business. And so right after election, yes, it is important for us to jubilate and for us to go through all the celebrations and the rest. But to what extent? There should always be a cutoff point for us to start regrouping and preparing our minds as we secure our own future. And that is why I have said that even though the NDC had overwhelming majority in Parliament, we may want to celebrate. His Excellency John Mahama has won. We may want to celebrate. But the truth is, we have just 4 years ahead of us. And for me, the 4 years begins from now. And that's why, again, your transformative program, Politics and Beyond, this time has decided to join hands with you for us to start preparing for the next 4 years and to prepare for our future as it is entailed between now and 2028. Elections are over. What should we expect? And that is the discussion we are going to have this evening. We are going to have this discussion. After the break, when we come back, we'll go through some few slides and we'll activate the phone lines for you to also get involved. You will call in and tell us what you expect. We are going to put all together. Even before the phone lines are activated, you can send in your messages as we have always been doing, and at the appropriate time, it will be read for you. On the screen, you will see the WhatsApp line 050-888-1800. It is on the screen. On all social media platforms, you can also get interactive with us, and we'll get it read for you at the appropriate time. We have really been through a lot as a country this past 8 years. You are going to talk about what you expect. I'm going to talk about what we expect from this incoming government led by His Excellency John Mahama. But you see, whether you like it or not, we are going to inherit a different kind of government. We are going to inherit a different kind of economy. And one of the things you should prepare your mind for is the fact that we are going to inherit a deep-rooted corruption. There's no two ways about that. We are going to inherit political resistance. There's no two ways about that. We are also going to inherit public distrust in government. And the last election, I mean, just about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, the election that we all went into, one of the things that all of us could quickly identify had to do with the low turnout. And remember, we've discussed the Afrobarometer's reports on this platform at least about twice or so before we got into the elections. And one of the key things that happened was that, or came out of the report, was that majority of Ghanaians were losing hope and confidence in the governance and the democracy that we are practicing as a country. You may attribute the low turnout to whatever you want to. I have heard those who have lost, those belonging to the MPP saying that, well, it is our members who are so aggrieved and decided not to go and vote. Whatever be the reason, what we should realize is that the low turnout, to a large extent, is influenced by the fact that majority of Ghanaians are losing confidence and trust in the governance and in the electoral process that we are practicing in this country, the democracy that we are practicing in this country. And so, yes, as we move into a new era with a new leader, His Excellency John Mahama, all of us as a country must appreciate the fact that there's a lot of public distrust in government. We have what we call the socio-economic inequality. And the socio-economic inequality is also as a result of the bad governance we have received under under the tenure of His Excellency Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. The way and manner in which they have created the environment where if you do not belong to them, you are not part or you are not treated as a Ghanaian. It has really created a whole lot of socioeconomic inequalities. And that we have. That is the fact. That is the current state of this country. There's also going to be lack of political will. And the reason why there's going to be lack of political will is just because of the kind of governance structure we have built for ourselves as a country over the past years, where we all have what we call the winner takes all, where we all have where it is all about elections, winning elections, and no one is thinking about development. And so we go into an election, we finish 7th December, 7th January, we are sworn in. Mostly or most of the time, when we get to a maximum period of a year or two, we are preparing into another election. And so where we need to put in the right mechanism to prepare and to make sure that things are happening the way it ought to be, we rather decide to shield ourselves and make sure that we need to win the next election. And that is one of the things that is going to affect us significantly. The political will is one thing that is going to affect us. Finally, before we take a break, has to do with the inequality or inadequate resources. We have sold so many things, our natural resources, almost everything is gone. These are the realities on the ground. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to zoom into what we should expect. And that is where I will also invite you at the appropriate time to join in. Stay tuned. And I'll just lead and activate the phone lines for you to call in. Meanwhile, I can see a number of messages that are already coming in. Just express your views on what you expect the new government to do. It's been a long time since we talked about patriotism. Ghana is a country that belongs to all of us. And so before I even go on, I just want us to remind ourselves of the fact that whatever we do, it should be Ghana first. Just watch this short video.
A patriotic Ghanaian is one who loves and serves Ghana wholeheartedly. Think what you give to make Ghana a better country, but not only what you take from her. Arise and let's build. Be a proud Ghanaian. Always put Ghana first.
Well, the video sums it up, and it talks about you being not just a patriotic Ghanaian, but you also being a proud Ghanaian. Ghana belongs to you, Ghana belongs to me, Ghana belongs to all of us. And it is time for us to collectively build Ghana. Prior to us going on break, I gave you a quick picture of the state of Ghana. And that is the fact. In terms of the economy, monetary aspects, we've gone so much into debt. That is the reality. And that is the reason why I said earlier that we have celebrated, jubilated, but I think a week is more than enough for us. Let us zoom into what we expect the government, the new government, the country that we are, the leader that we are waiting for him to be sworn in on the 7th, what we expect him to do. And so today we are having a conversation on the aftermath of the elections. What should we expect? It's supposed to be expect, not expect. So what should we expect? And that is the conversation we are going to have. I'm going to share with you what not just me, but Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana expects from the new administration. And we'll activate the phone lines. You also share with us what you expect the new administration to do. First and foremost is the establishment of an accountability and transparency. And it is very, very important that we make sure we have that. Remember, I said earlier that corruption under this current government, the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia-led government, is deep-rooted. You have no idea. In the coming days, in the coming weeks, now that the transition process has begun, I'm sure all of us will get to know the reality. The things that we were talking about, they were just the tip of the iceberg. And so this new government led by His Excellency John Mahama, we expect that we will have an established accountability and transparency. And by this, what we are talking about is that we are supposed to strengthen the anti-corruption agencies. Of course, this we've talked about already, and we all know it. The corruptions, nepotism, arrogance, power play, poor leadership, governance failures, state capture, they were just the order of the day. It is gone. Ghana, it is gone. And we pray that we never go into such again. We pray that we never get into a leader or have a leader that will take us through this kind of things anymore. And so we are hoping and believing that the new leader that is coming, talking about John Mahama, His Excellency, he will be able to establish an accountability and transparency. And by that, we are talking about his strengthening the anti-corruption agencies, making sure that we have auditing and financial management, and most importantly, we have whistleblower protection. And the whistleblower protection here, we will not see anti-corruption agencies and individuals as enemies. We are expecting that the days of threats that we were receiving from this government or under this government will be a thing of the past. That is the first thing we are expecting from this government, the incoming government. The second one we expect has to do with institutional reforms. Our judiciary needs to be independent. We need electoral reforms. we need decentralization of power. These three things, they are very, very important and key. Judicial independence, electoral reform, decentralization of power. Talking about local government system, it is very important. We need that. Judicial independence, whether we like it or not, majority of Ghanaians do not have trust in the judiciary. And that is why I am expecting that the incoming administration will do something radical, where if it has to do with a reshuffle, whatever it is, something radical to make sure that the trust and the confidence that Ghanaians have lost in the judiciary will be brought back. And the same thing applies to the Electoral Commission. The days where we are having, as we have it now, individuals affiliated to political parties being given key roles to play at the Electoral Commission, key roles to play at the judiciary or in the judiciary, should be a thing of the past. There should be some significant reforms there. The third thing that we are expecting has to do with political and civic engagements. And I have made mention over and over the fact that NCCE seems to be disappointing us as a country. I have engaged them on so many platforms, and all they talk about is not having money. And I say that if we have leaders who think outside the box, the excuse of money should be the least of contributory factors as to why that institution is not working. And so, yes, we need that, and it is very, very important for us, because that is what we expect. However, the incoming government is going to do that, if we are engaged, we will be able to. But we believe very strongly that the incoming government has what it takes, because the president, the incoming president, or the president-elect has been president before, and he knows all this. But we need to mention it to him that as citizens, we are expecting political and civic engagements. And by this, we are talking about civic education, youth and community involvement, and public forums and consultations. It is refreshing to know that the first 120 days of His Excellency John Mahama's administration, at least per the document that he has shared with the public, it is in need that there's going to be some public engagement on the economy. That is really refreshing. These are the things we expect and we'll be looking forward to. The fourth one has to do with economic rebuilding and growth. We need to diversify the economy, and most importantly, we need to support local businesses. We need to implement policies that support small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, to foster innovation and economic resilience. We don't want what happened under Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, where local businesses were rather being victimized, where local agencies and businesses were collapsed or being collapsed. That is not what we expect. So this coming administration led by His Excellency John Mahama, we are expecting economic rebuilding and growth, and most importantly, there should be support for local businesses. The fifth one, we are also expecting governance and leadership development. We need leadership training programs, merit-based appointments, meritocracy. The appointments that are going to be made, it shouldn't be made based on family and friends, as we saw under His Excellency Akufo-Addo and Bawumia administration. We expect individuals who will be appointed to be appointed not because they have a relationship with the president of the day, but because, or the vice president of the day, but because they merit it. Meritocracy. That is what we expect. We are also looking out for code of conduct for leaders. These individuals that will be appointed, we expect that there will be code of conduct for them. The other thing that we are expecting, and that's the sixth one, has to do with social programs and welfare systems. And when we talk of social programs and welfare systems, we are talking about social safety nets and corruption recovery initiatives. We have what we call the Operation Recover All Loot. This falls under it. And so we are expecting that it will not just be in the manifesto, it will not just be a political talk, but we are expecting the implementation of it under the new government led by His Excellency John Mahama. The seventh thing that we are expecting, and that has to do with international cooperation. Now, when we talk of international cooperation, we are expecting good engaging with international bodies. We want collaboration with international organizations and NGOs to gain resources, expertise and support in reconstruction and in the reconstruction efforts. You may want to define it as a resetting effort. But I believe where we are now, whether resetting, reconstruction, Ghana definitely needs to be rebuilt. And so there's a need for us to have international cooperation. And that is very, very important for us to do. We need to leverage on technology for transparency. We are behind when it comes to technology. We need to leverage on that. The other one, which is the fourth and for me, the eighth and the most important one, has to do with monitoring and evaluation. The new administration, we are expecting that the new administration will establish what we call performance metrics. They need to create a system to evaluate the effectiveness of reforms and initiatives, allowing for adjustments based on outcomes. We don't expect to have the kind of posture that was exhibited by His Excellency Akufo-Addo, where it was very clear that the economy was speedily collapsing under the then finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta. But yet Akufo-Addo, in his own wisdom, thinks that Ken Ofori-Atta was the best, and so there won't be any reshuffling. And it is just because Akufo-Addo didn't have what we call the performance metrics. He sits and only God knows the kind of yardstick he was using to take care or to measure not just Ken Ofori-Atta but other appointees of his. Where the whole country, everyone was crying, including his own members in parliament, crying that people like Ken Ofori-Atta and others were not performing, so they must go. Akufo-Addo said that they are doing the best, and so he doesn't see why they should leave. And it is just because he didn't have what we called the performance metrics. The other thing under the performance metrics has to do with regular reporting. We need to mandate regular public reporting by government agencies on progress towards goals to promote accountability and inform citizenry. We have elected you guys. You didn't elect us. We elected you. We gave you the mandate. Whether as the president, the vice president, ministers that are going to be appointed, CEOs that are going to be appointed, members of parliament that have been elected, we have given you work to do for the next 4 years. It is just fair and appropriate that you give us regular reporting. Tell us progress. Let us know each ministry what is happening. We are not going to wait till the next 4 years before we start talking. Right from 7th of January, we are expecting that these 8 key things will be put in place. Because as I indicated, governance is a serious business. It involves your life, it involves my life. It has nothing to do with you have won or you have lost. It has everything to do with the fact that you are managing and making policies and decisions that has a significant effect on my life, on the life of even the unborn generation. And that is why we are not going to relax. But that is why I also said earlier on that the era of jubilation, I think it is more than enough. A week is more than enough. Let us get back to business and let's start working. There are some constituencies that are still having disputes. over who has won. Look, as long as there has been a declaration, those that have lost, they should fold their arms, they should keep quiet and allow governance to progress. I can make mention of Dome Kwabinya. I can make mention of Ablekumanot, Sawum Adwejuri, and I believe there are others. As long as declaration has been made, let us move on and stop this recoalition, going to court and all that. It is just a waste of our own time and resources. At this moment, we are going to activate the phone lines. The program is all about you. I've just given you a brief. 8 significant things that we expect. I am expecting that the government is going to be led by His Excellency John Mahama. And I'm proud to be saying these things because I believe strongly that John Mahama is a listening person. He's someone who listens. And someone who will even appreciate you when you do not agree with him. He won't treat you and see you as an enemy. So feel free. This is your life. The next 4 years that we have is your life. Akufo-Addo, the worst president we've had in this Fourth Republic. We are not going to waste time talking about his era anymore. We are talking about the next 4 years ahead of us. Your life, my life. The phone lines are activated. 020-415-5944. The second one, as you can see on your screen, 020-415-55888. There are some messages that have already come in. This is Samriboy is one of NDC's strong area. All we need now is our road. All we need now is our road. When NDC government do this, we will be more excited too, as they will never lose in Samriboy area. You didn't tell where it is, but Samriboy, so that is the expectation. Hello, caller. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
All right. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from. And if you can speak up.
My name is Yoki.
Hi. Say it again. And you are calling from? Takrady. Please go ahead. As brief as you can.
The national apprenticeship program, 24-hour economy, attention, papa. You see, Masa, I'm going to lead the book. Masa, we're going to lead the book. You come there, we better, I come here, yo. It's in the my congregation and me. It's in madam, it's investors in book. Nothing I need to make a name, but so than the man. You must rather ask you more. But your mom can make master.
Mr. Asip, thank you very much. Yempo, one of the key things are determine the outcome of this election had to do with the unemployment rate in this country. The youth were so desperate, disappointed, because day in, day out, the unemployment rate was going high and high and high. Instead of this government rather giving us employment avenue, they were actually collapsing it. So yes, employment is what is expected. Hello, caller. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Hello.
Good evening and welcome to Politics and Beyond. Your name, please, and where you are calling from?
I'm calling from Nina.
Ahmed, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think I heard what the panelist guy was discussing. I think it's very, very important. Myself, I'm a branch organizer, a branch chairman in my district. We are also coming out with something about concerning the monitoring and evaluation concerning the old project and the one. So we are here also to at least to make impact on this government from the grassroots. So very soon, you hear from us very soon. So I don't want to say much. You hear from me.
Thank you so much. So Ahmed is still also talking about the monitoring and evaluation. I think that was the last expectation that I expressed. So back to the message. This one says, good evening, sir. I'm Kweku watching from Ejiso in the Ashanti region. What I expect His Excellency to do is to complete all his initial works. And that is also very important. So if I tell you the amount of money that goes to waste, your tax, my tax, that goes to waste as a result of uncompleted, abandoned state properties or national projects, you'll be amazed. And so, yes, that is the expectation from Kweku. We voted against deep-rooted corruption and for Operation Recovery or Loots. If President Mahama fails to hold people accountable for looting that has gone on for the past 8 years, NDC will not get the 41.6% Dr. Baumia got in the year 2028. And this is Isaka. Very well. So Isaka is talking about Operation Recover or Loot. That is what he's expecting. Good evening and welcome to Politics and Beyond. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Good evening and welcome to Politics and Beyond. Your name?
Good evening, sir. Hello?
Country?
Hello?
Yes. Sir, TV notice, reduce volume no, so that you can hear me. Okay, please go on. Yes. Bonito Famayen.
24-hour economy now for the ban.
Yes.
And we are there to borrow no Juma. A woman of the point say Juma, I'm a party between yet money and yet man. A comma to be and no Jalano will be a that one is there, Abba. And you're talking to me to know. I was said, man said ye. Now, Abama, you have a point from the other so we am from our home.
Thank you so much. Inzi, again on the issue of employment, and it is very, very important and key. We say President Mahama should hold his ministers accountable if there is any corruption allegations against them. And this is from Evans. Evans from Jasikan. Okay, Evans is talking on his expectation has to do with fighting corruption. I'm Yao Kisi from Takra. They say the NDC as a political party this time around is not a business as usual, but rather a venture that will be straightly focused on creating jobs and opportunities for our teeming young men and women who are beaten by life challenges and poverty. Long live Ghana. Long live the NDC for life. Regards to Dr. Grace, our new MP for Esikado, Ketan constituency. Okay. My name is Maswell Finn from Cape Coast. I'm a strong NDC member. I would like to plead with His Excellency John Mahama to bring dollar to 10 Ghana cedis. Take care of Galamsey and cut down on ministers because they are misusing the nation's money. Okay, that is Maswell. Good evening. Welcome to Politics and Beyond. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
My name is Martin, calling from Koforiji.
Okay, please go ahead. And if you can speak up a bit.
Okay. One of the things that would help the country develop, developing talent, and then people creating entrepreneurship.
Right.
Most often, the FDA and co always prevent people from creating their businesses. So if the government will be able to need entrepreneurs to be able to get access to facilities easily, it may help in developing the country.
That's right.
So I want the government to look at the FDA and then giving license to people who are really qualified to do certain businesses in the country, and that will help the youth as well.
Thank you so much. I mean, I agree absolutely with you. As a business person, I understand exactly what you are talking about. So I agree with you perfectly. That's a good expectation. So we go on. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. All right, let's pick the next caller. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Politics and Beyond. Can you hear me? Hello. All right, so I'm sure the technical team will work on that. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. Indeed, Ghanaians have spoken. My hope is that the president should tackle the economy fast to foster survival security of the Ghanaian. The election has taught us that things are not well with the country. Congratulations to all of us. This is from Reverend Justice Aposa, who, thank you, Reverend. This is James from Kojo Krom. His Excellency John Mahama must do the Operation Recover All Loot and take all the money stolen by the NPP. All right, that is it. The next one, good evening, Mr. Wilson. I expect you to talk about nepotism. All right, I will talk about that. Let's take the next caller. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you, sir. I'm Richmond.
Richmond. From where?
From Cuba.
All right, Richmond, please go ahead.
I'm a taxi driver, but the best policy that I'm waiting for is this in Kukon Kitin.
Akoko Kitin, uh-huh.
I really look forward to it.
Beautiful.
After
Beautiful.
Be my
All right, Richmond. Richard, right? I think I got the name. Richard. Richard, thank you so much. So, we are looking forward to that. That is the expectation of Richard.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think it's a good and a brilliant policy that all those that will have the opportunity should take advantage of that. It is going to be a good thing. This one says, we expect retrieval of all loot and prosecution of corrupt officials. We also expect all infrastructures and employment. Okay, you didn't add your name. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. I expect the incoming president, His Excellency John Mahama, to appoint dedicated persons to occupy ministerial positions. And this is Philip Kuma from Kumasi. Hello, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
My name is Ben Azuma, calling from Central Town in the Water.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead, Azuma.
Benjamin Azuma.
Yes, please. We are listening.
Calling. Yes. I think for your program.
Yes.
What I want our president to do is first, please, deal with corruption.
Very well.
What has happened for the past 8 years, especially this cathedral issue, they have to work on it. Let's be forensic audit to that particular thing, because the kind of money has gone is heartbreaking.
Right.
And two, the apprenticeship program
Okay.
properly has been better for apprenticeship program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Azuma. And subsequent episode, I'll be telling Ghanaians the exact amount of money that has gone into the cathedral. You'll be amazed. It has nothing to do with what is going around, the 50-something million or billion that we are talking about. That is just a chicken change. In the next episode, I will let all of us know the exact amount of money. So I agree with you, Azuma. There should be the fight against corruption, and it must start particularly with this cathedral scandal and apprenticeship. Very well. Thank you so much. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. Okay, I've talked about it. This is from Philip Kuma in Kumasi.
Hello.
Do you have a caller?
Hello, yeah.
Yes,
Hello.
good evening. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Yeah, my name is Salifu, calling from Kintampo.
Okay, Salifu, please go ahead.
Yeah, please. What we want our president to do is to build a situation who lead the country and it is a incoming ministers.
Right.
Hello.
I agree. Yes.
And because that is something. Ghana, at least, they are rich. But because of a something memorial, you see where the country is going.
That's true. Yeah. Thank you so much, Salisu. Thank you so much. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. I want the new government to make sure they revive the economy, Operation Recover All, and review the free SHS. And this is coming from Moses in Kwanta. Oti, do we have a caller on the line? Hello? All right, so we go on. We expect our new leader. So this one, the last message I read came from Moses in Kwanta in Oti region. I've missed Oti region. I'll be there very soon. Moses. Hello. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
I'm calling from Boko.
Boko. Your name? Your name?
Yes, from Boko.
I didn't get your name.
My name is MK.
Okay. Please go ahead. How is Boku doing?
Oh, Boko is doing well.
Good. I should be there very soon. When I come, I'll look for you. Please go ahead.
Okay. My point is that
we are listening.
hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
But it's like I'm not online.
We are hearing you. Please go on.
Yeah. My point is that hello?
Are you watching yourself on the TV? All right. So we move on. It looks like he was listening to himself. There's another call on the line. Welcome to Politics and Beyond. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, your name and where you are calling from.
I'm calling from
You say it again? All right, please go ahead. All right, okay. So it looks like we had a little challenge with that one too. We expect our new leader, His Excellency John Mahama, to solve the Ghana's economy for us so that things will reduce. I think he's trying to say for us so that market prices will reduce. Okay, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you, sir.
Your name and where you are calling from.
Yeah, I'm Gilbert, calling from Kumasi.
Yes, Gilbert, please go ahead.
Yeah. What I'm expecting our new president to do is that the way he did to the cocoa road,
yes,
this time around, any resources that is channeled to any development, it should name that development after that resources. Like cocoa road, at least the road every 10 or 5 kilometers, there should be a signpost indicating that cocoa road. If you build hospital, where the resources that you use to build the hospital, you should put an inscription there so that it can know the judicious use of our resources. That's what I want our president.
Thank you so much. That's really important. And I agree perfectly with you. This one says, good evening, Mr. Wilson and my dear friend. We thank God for the good work you are doing. Thank you too. JDM is back. And my expectations, I wish JDM will put in place an independent judiciary, security, and electoral commission. Ghana need a national policy. Thank you. This is Ishmael Mohammed from Kumasi. Then we have, good evening, Mr. Wilson. I expect John Mahama and Jane Nana and our beloved NDC administration to avoid corruption, impunity, and arrogance. They should also work on the judiciary and the electoral commission. And this is from Peter. Peter sent in this message from Medina. Thank you, Peter. So, caller, you're welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you.
Your name and where you are calling from.
My name is Barnabas, calling from Western of region.
Very well. Barnabas, please go ahead.
Please. Our new government.
Yes.
NDC. What I think from our new government is that we cocoa farmers are suffering from FPG government.
Yeah.
First one, a cocoa price increase. We refuse to increase our cocoa price. And our new government, GM, we took us that we increase our cocoa price. We are waiting for him. And black pot disease. We are suffering on black pot disease.
Right.
When he is coming, he might to give us medicine that we need to protect our cocoa from black pot disease.
Right.
And other kinds of material that we need for our cocoa farming.
Very well. Very well. Thank you so much. It is very important. We need that. Let me go back to the message. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. My name is Steven. Hello, watching you from Amasaman, Sonitra. Please, what I expect from JM is for him to prosecute all government appointees who stole from the states. Thanks. All right, caller, I have caller on the line. Welcome to Politics and Beyond. Good evening. Your name and where you're calling from?
That's Yusuf Guruma from Clinton.
Okay, please go ahead.
My advice to the incumbent president is to put all his concentration on the agriculture sector. That is the game changer. If you're able to support the agriculture sector, you to succeed from everywhere.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much. So this one says, hello, Mr. Wilson. I'm very happy to hear that you brought this topic. In the first place, I pray we brought back the town guards. Okay. So you want the town guards, town.
Hello?
Which one is the town guards? Anyway. So yes, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
I'm calling from Bogoso, specifically Western region.
Very well. Please go ahead. You didn't tell your name. You
You
didn't tell me your name.
What I'm expecting from
Your name.
our newly elected president
name.
is about those banking cleanup. Yes, I want him to investigate, thoroughly look into the bank and then issue them their licenses, to give them their licenses. Because I have personally, I was doing business with GN Bank and my money is locked up. I've been to Consolidated Bank of Ghana many times, and whenever I go there, they ask me, this is the number the government has to pay us, and I will be calling, they will not tell me anything. That is important. So what I'm expecting your mama to do is to look into the so-called banking cleanup and then issue back their licenses.
All right. All right.
And then, and secondly, also reduce the size of its ministers.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you so much. So the banking cleanup is very important. We need to look into it and see what can be done, the appropriate thing that can be done in the interest of Ghana. The next one is what you talked about, and that is very, very important. So we have a caller on the line. Welcome to Politics and Beyond. Can you hear me? All right, so we go to the message. Accountability, accountability, accountability for the outgoing government and agricultural policy. That is, you didn't mention your name, but that is your expectation. My expectations.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
But Francis Kofi.
Francis Kofi, Pacho Koso. Good. Meet you.
Ghana, about where you told you 96 abani asa to you, Natasana Kasa Ama Domahama. It is in Yanese, Omo Modino, Mamma mine, yes, our mind the search. Many politics is all the bad, we make sure this will be this one, because Oyanese, Obeshe, Oma, or Tigan is coming over Haji Yamai, Jomfa, or Sienyo.
That's right.
So
it still has to do with employment. This one says, my expectation from the government is to stabilize the city, scrap some taxes on petroleum products and companies in order to reduce prices of goods and services. You didn't add your name. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. I am Aqua Edmond. Please, my opinion is that our president-elect should be vigilant with his ministers. Otherwise, he will fail. Please, I love JM very much. And Almighty God shall protect him, inshallah. He will deliver. Okay. This one says, special greetings to you, Mr. Wilson. Okay, I'll come back to that. Caller, your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Samuel Bawa Bugre.
All right, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Manso Ejubia.
Okay, please.
In the Manso West, Amanda Bishop of Ashanti.
Very well. I hope everyone is doing well there. Go ahead.
All right. In fact, what I would like the president-elect to do is to concentrate on this Peter Dabre project that he actually proposed in the educational policy. I think it is one program that every teacher is looking up for. So to help provide accommodation for teachers in the existing schools, and like the new ones he promised that he will add accommodation to. And then also the review of the senior high school it's also another thing that we expect that he should do that to help the learners as well as teachers to benefit and get the full benefit of the whole program. So that is what the teachers are looking out for.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've really summarized it. And I believe that is the position of not just the teachers, but even parents. We expect that these things will be done. So this one says, do you have a call on the line? Yes. Welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
Jibril Mohammed,
Jibril, me pacho tiaso.
Pacho, not some Pacho. NPP Abano. Go for Modi or Minister na Kasanka John Mama. Oji or Minister is in Won't you be able to but staff to be a wafumo or Minister be our own disconnect and see the population and one on G time my one.
And when you are me that's a part Jibrim, so the operation recover all loot no. A idea in a day I come as to say Abaya Ebasi, Abine led by His Excellency John Mahama. No. Obe to me, I implement it. Thank you so much. So I go back. Greetings, special greetings to you, Mr. Wilson. My name is Nobet Yawutenu from Nungua-Krowa constituency. Respectfully, it is very true that Nanado is the worst president of Ghana. Is the worst president Ghana has ever had. Due to unprecedented corruption in the country. Under him, the nepotism practiced in his government, as well as the collapse of the education sector, with very poor feeding, giving the learners who don't have books to learn with. Thanks. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. I will still emphasize on tax waivers because these are the key factors that weaken the business field. And this is coming from Andy from Insawam. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. We thank the Almighty God for the victory of His Excellency John Mahama. He is a good man, and God will help him deliver. We expect His Excellency to deal with all corrupt-related issues and forget the Father for all. We voted for him to recover all loots. Right. John Mahama should correct the history of the country. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's birthday. All right. Ghanaians have risen to reject the corruption, nepotism, and division that defined Akufo-Addo's leadership. The nation demands more than empty promises. It demands justice, unity, and integrity. His Excellency John Mahama must lead boldly, fighting corruption and restoring trust, while citizens remain vigilant, reject tribalism, and hold leaders accountable. Ghana's future depends on our collective courage to demand and create real change. I want to see jobs for the youth and improvement in our health sector as well. And that is very important. Good evening, Mr. Wilson. The country called Ghana had two enemies, the audits and the courts. These institutions don't work for the country only, but for their family well-being. All of us have to take notes of these mandated institutions, how they are. Okay, so not so clear, but you didn't even add your name to it. Next time, do well to add your name. This one says, Ghanaians have risen to reject the corruption, nepotism, and division that defined Akufo-Addo's leadership. The nation demands more than empty promises. It demands justice, unity, and integrity. Okay, I think I have just read this. I want to see jobs for the youth and improvement in our health sector as well. This is Princess sending in the message and doing the viewing and watching all the way from the United States of America. All right, so the messages keep coming. The messages keep coming. So I think that is exactly what we need. These are the things that we need, and Ghanaians have spoken. I will quickly go through some few things here. And when we are done, looking at the time, which is almost up, we'll take the next, what needs to be done next. But most importantly, let me just, okay. So sorry. We've talked about the realities here. Let's look at some of the strategies that we need. in ensuring that our expectations are met. We need education and awareness. We need coalition building. We need inclusive decision making. We expect monitoring and accountability. And I'll add evaluation, as I said earlier on. We need performance metrics, which is very, very, very important, because that is exactly what we need. And most importantly, we need public participation platforms. But as an anti-corruption crusader, all I can say is that whistleblowers, individuals like us who are fighting corruption, must not be seen as enemies. And I'm so happy when, prior to the elections, I had the opportunity to engage His Excellency John Mahama, the then flag bearer and now president-elect, for his assurance whether or not he's going to see us, the anti-corruption crusaders, as enemies. And I was so happy, and it was refreshing when he assured us that he's going to see us as partners. And for me, it convinced me that he is a leader who is committed to fighting corruption. And that is what we need. We don't need leaders who will see anti-corruption crusaders as enemies. That antagonistic approach and attitude, vindictive approach and attitude that we experienced under His Excellency Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. It is not just my prayer, but I believe it's the prayer of each and every one of us, that as a country, we will never experience such a thing again. Indeed, I have said on so many platforms that as a country, the worst thing we can ever do to ourselves in moving forward is to either elect anyone or appoint anyone who has a resemblance of His Excellency Akufo-Addo to any national position. Well, others have argued that if it is possible, we can even take their names or his name off as a president that has, someone who has ever been president. But no, it is part of history. History and posterity will record and have it that particularly in this Fourth Republic, the worst president we have ever had is the Akufo-Addo government and the Akufo-Addo presidency. And I pray that for the sake of Ghana, we will never have such a thing again. And that is the reason why we have started very early in making sure that the incoming president and government will be guided by the things that Ghanaians are expecting. Today we've talked about it. Next week we are going to go into details, and hopefully we'll have some individuals to assist us in shaping the expectation. So we will still have this same conversation, at least between now and swearing in. Because we need to drum in, we need to establish and let the elected president or the incoming president and the soon-to-be appointees, and particularly the members of parliament, know that governance in Ghana is not going to be business as usual. We are going to hold our leaders accountable. We are going to expect from them. We will not sit down and expect them to play with our lives, as we saw under this current government led by Akufo-Addo. We won't have it again. All too soon, this is where time will allow us. I believe that we have set the ball rolling for this conversation, and I believe strongly that we have had a very insightful and engaging conversation and episode this evening. Next week, God willing, just around the same time, 8 p.m. on this same platform, I'll come your way again with another conversation, which still has to do with what we expect the incoming administration to do, what we expect from them. The elections, it is over, as I indicated. Those who are still litigating and calling for recoalition and the thing, as someone will say, Maui, just go, let us move on. That is a fact. And I'm making reference to some of the few constituencies. We have Domeko Abinya, we have Ablekuma North, and the fact is Maui. We move on. But let me also sound a caution. The NDC is having an overwhelming majority in parliament. It has its own advantages. It also has its own disadvantages. But just be mindful. The fact that you have overwhelming majority doesn't mean that Ghanaians are going to sit quietly and allow you to do anything just like that. We are really going to have an eye on each and every single thing that you will do. If it is not in the interest of Ghana, if it is not in the interest of the citizens, we will surely be strong against you. Trust me on this. On this note, all I can say is that this coming Wednesday, this episode is going to be repeated on this same platform at 11 a.m. Tune in, watch again. Call your friends who failed or couldn't watch. Let them watch. When you go to our social media platform, the YouTube link, the Facebook link, you can have it there again. Listen to it again. Watch it. And continue to share in your messages and your expectations on our platforms. And let's get interactive and engaging. My name again is Emmanuel Wilson Jr. And I want to thank each and every one of you who participated in this evening's episode. Till we meet again next week, same time. All I can say for now is good night.